Good morning. Welcome to ABC 123 Trader. Today is October 20th, 2020. It is 8:24 in the morning. And let's start taking a look at I guess it'll be the ES futures today. And what I want to show you today is just a few things. Let's go through the news. So everything is pointing up right now, but we're actually starting to go into a negative territory, let's say. And we'll get into it a little bit later. But the news right now is showing the Dow is set to rise 200 points. Optimism, stimulus deal can be reached on the deadline. And on the Fox side, they're saying everything is rebounding. Great. We'll see what happens. But now while we get into it, let's look at the technicals here. On the technical side, once we reached our peak from our last cycle, if we knew right in the beginning of the cycle to buy in, we would have cashed in quite a bit. So let's take a look at it. So when she started, let's say we'll put at the volume point of control till the time, even if it finished, we were up 123 points on the ES. Currently, right now, I'd rather do. Let's go 60-minute right now. Let's put it on this market here. I'm going to put a horizontal line here because it did whip up. The daily bar sometimes doesn't give you the true line in the sand. So I want to go back to the day so we know exactly where we are. Let it load up. So it's just a little bit lower. I got to fix this code here because it always marks on the top of the daily bar and I want it to the actual price number. So currently right now, if we were trading this, since we hit the line in the sand, we've already been up 67 points. Okay? So the phases are working the way it's supposed to be working. And what I want to show you while it's doing this, let's get a little more into the technicals of what I look at so you can get a better understanding. And why you really have to understand how the markets work. Everything is basically run these days by big bank hedge fund managers, iceberg orders. You can get into technical, all these crazy technical names. And what we have to realize how they're playing with the market. And if you look over the whole night session, my indicators created a market, or I call it the market maker line. So this is our bias here. And from that bias, if we're above the market maker, we want to take long orders. And now we're at the point where we're looking to take shorting opportunities because day trend has went south. Look at our percentages at -7, but we have to still wait because this was the first impulse move. The best opportunities to arrive, even though this is above here, we're going to see what it reacts if it gets close, deep enough retracement to get within this zone here. This is one of the areas we're looking for. And while it's doing that, we have to figure out why it's coming down to these areas. Now, there's a couple of reasons why it did come down to the areas. First, on the technical side, because of this sell-off, this quick sell-off, it could have actually went into this zone right here for a buy-in because it was such a sharp, drastic. So we still might be going up today. We don't know yet. Okay? But with that being said, all our fundamentals is we're breaking this blue line here, which I call it the institutional line. I call these now market maker lines because I was getting too many names. But since everything is starting to trend down, we're going to start looking as a trender to look down. But now I'm going to, from a 1 minute bar, I'm going to go to about a 5 minute bar here. What I'm going to be looking for is to see if the market makers are just going to pull it down to this level, load up for the day, even though everything's still pointed, it could even go farther down, and then go up. But look how our trending happened. This was yesterday's trending, and it looked like, oh yeah, we're rebounding for the day. No, we're not done yet. We're not done by a long shot. So I'm just setting up my position right now. Hopefully it'll work. It'll be a while before it ever kick in. But what I'm doing is when we're looking at fundamentals, we have to look at areas of interest of why they hit it. Now I'm going to get into my indicator side of why these lines exist. These blue lines here, and see how they just ranged up and down, up and down, up, you know, so many times. Why did I have a line and it is actually support and rejection? Because this is previous histories. This is the previous history of the morning opens. These are morning open prices. Every single one of these lines. And I have a few weeks of them. And so from yesterday, when it was bouncing down and bouncing up and bouncing down and bouncing up, it's because of the market open for the overnight session. Now the second thing you're going to say, what is this dotted line? And it actually literally touched a line and stopped. Now I'm not looking at prior low here. This is because when the market was happening, we were here and it literally hit. Well, if we follow this line, I'm going to go F6 here, just so I can put the line on there so we can see it a little bit better. Let's keep on going. Boom, right here. So the timestamp, October 8th, and we're on the 20th. So it pushed the market down from October 8th all the way back to the 20th just to hit this price point where there was orders, liquid orders here. They wanted to load up. And that's the reason why we really have to figure out why they all of a sudden it looks like the market's crashing all day, you know, sky is falling, and then all of a sudden bang, it stops. Because there are these areas that we don't see in the market where they react. And for the past 5 years, I've been trying to figure out constantly, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? And you know, you could go through YouTube videos, all these other, you know, gurus out there, and I'm not a guru, but I spend enough, I'll guess man hours staring at the screen and try to figure out, I'll call it the mathematics or the technicals of the market. And so when you know while you're trading, let's say once you fire that trigger, then you have to justify your risk and reward. But until then, we want to know our biases. So I was on the phone yesterday, actually, for many hours, actually, to many different people. But one of the people I was talking to is they were trying to figure out, well, how do we establish rules? And the bottom line is it's all on biases of certain things. Some is news, and the news to me is just a catalyst to make the market move more volatile, to get us emotionally engaged to the trade. But if you strip that out and you understand what's really happening, then we can get into the details. I'm not talking about non-farm payroll, but once you start understanding that, then you can start making trades. So what I'll do, let's say on this chart here, I was actually looking for the longest time for buying opportunities going at least up to this line here, this blue line, because I know this is going to be a major, it usually hits and stops. So if I go back in time, let's focus on this so you can understand. It will bounce, stay within that zone, and then once it breaks, then we take the other opportunity. I want to find a really good example where it touches. See, it just breaks, and it's touching, breaking. I need a really good one. Actually, the NQ shows a better reaction usually. So that's the first thing. So now I know I'm still kind of in a downtrending market. First, you look at your dailies, bottom line, to see which direction, how the energy is flowing. We know we're still in a down market, and they're trying to recoup some of their losses. Then I'll look at the overnight session, and the overnight session was a rebound. It came back up. We're actually literally flat from the whole night. So since it started, it's been just bouncing up, and just playing around. Once I know that, then I'll get a little deeper into the technicals, such as, okay, this is red. So now I have to think of two things. This is pointing down. We're on a selling opportunity. This is still negative. We're still an hour before market open. And now day trend is negative. I would love to see it pull up, come back in, and continue. So I might just go back up to here to this sweet spot zone for the big push. And then I will look at areas such as this line, previous close, and then this dotted line, which I believe is a market maker line. And if she keeps on punching through, I will look at different areas of interest. So all these dotted lines, or all these lines here, are my areas of interest for the market. And that's about it. And once you start understanding that, then you can start pinpointing different areas of interest. So, for example, I'm using, for ES, I like my Uni Renko. And so the Uni Renko, what I'm using this for is this, if I was up at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard, this would have been my first trade right now. It's my breakout trade. Even though it's green, I'll try to take it for a few points and see what happens. Now what I'm looking at, because I still believe I said the bias is down, I'm below my baseline cloud. Day trend is on the sell side. The only things actually, it's not that bad. This line in the sand is right on the baseline, so this might be the best opportunity to get in. And so everything is pointing negative, so I'm going to start looking for short trades. I'll look at my longer time frame, which I just showed you. Then I'll get into my trading area, and that's how I work at it. And then I'll look at to see if these times are working, so I know when the big push is happening. So, and that's about it. So, and then lastly, let's get back into the Discord. So people that just be aware of my alerts right now, because I'm programming at the same time while I'm trading, and I'm getting farther and farther in there. So I have ATR, I have swing scanner, I have day trend, and market maker. I've got 4 signals now set up, and I've got a few more to go before this is complete. I mean, you can take a look to see what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to be adding Forex and everything. When it's all said and done, then we'll have a nice alert system. Alrighty. Other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Join our Discord group. Slowly building. Some people are chatting, but the bottom line is once we start interacting with each other, we can all look at it and saying, how should we trade for the day? Other than that, just make sure you pinpoint your trades, trade safe, and you guys have a great day. Bye.